Today is a wonderful day, and tomorrow's gonna be a wonderful day too. Today, tomorrow, the day after that, they're all beautiful days too. Just look up and say thank you. Just look up and say thank you for the love, thank you for the grace, thank you for the hugs, thank you for the space, thank you for the joy, thank you for the peace, thank you for the good in all I see, thank you for the love, thank you for the love. One day is not like another, but that doesn't mean we don't have each other. When we laugh, sing, dance, cry, we're all in this together. When we love, praise, cheer, smile, happy as can be. All we've got to say is God and sing. All you got to say is thank you for the love, thank you for the grace, thank you for the hugs, and thank you for the space, thank you for the joy, thank you for peace, thank you for the good in all I see, thank you for the love, thank you for the love, thank you for the love.
And so from this place of love and oneness, we bring our consciousness to the awareness of the sacredness of all of life. And we know that there is only one mind, one power, one life, one earth, and we are each unique manifestations of this energy, of this loving presence, of this divine creative intelligence. And so right here, right now, we celebrate that. We celebrate our ability to recognize the sacred in all, to recognize that the Holy Land is everywhere, and to do our part with willingness and grace to participate in knowing that love is all there is, and we are all sacred expressions of love. And so from this place with deep gratitude for community, for being together, for knowing this truth, and for embracing the sacred all around us, I say thank you. And I release this word into that ever-present and loving law that does unto us as we believe. And so I know that it is already done. And so I invite you all to join me in saying, and so it is. Amen. Hallelujah. Welcome to Center for Spiritual Living Morristown, a vibrant community where love, joy, and inclusivity are at the heart of everything we do. Here, we honor the unique journey of every soul, offering a place of healing, growth, and celebration. Together, we created an atmosphere of openness and love, where every person is seen, valued, and accepted just as they are. My name is Carlson, and I'm a licensed practitioner here, and I'd like to thank you for joining us, whether you're here in person, or you're joining us on the live stream, or you're watching at a later time. We are so happy that you are part of this journey of shared wisdom, light, and transformation. If this is your first time with us, and I don't see any first timers here, but fill out a visitor form, get a welcome packet, and if you do not get our newsletter, please sign up for the Constant Contact newsletter in the back. You can also visit our website, which is cslmorristown.org. We are happy, I'm always happy, to welcome back our musician Grayson Nierenberg, who will be blessing us with original music and leading us in a chant that we're going to do together partway through. So I am always happy to work with Grayson. Thank you, Grayson. So the CSL 2025 theme is Rising Higher, Growing Deeper. The monthly theme for October is Glow Up, which I love, right? And my topic today is Seeing the Sacred in All. The topic for CSL was The Holy Land is Everywhere, and I kind of tweaked it a little to Seeing the Sacred because they're the same thing. Seeing the sacred in all and recognizing that the Holy Land is everywhere is the same consciousness, right? So, with that being said, I will be back to talk about that, but first we're going to start with the Namaste practice. So since we're talking about the sacred in all, today I'm going to tweak it a little bit. Instead of saying the divine in me recognizes and honors the divine in you, I want you to say the sacred in me recognizes and honors the sacred in you. So I invite you to bring your hands together, to turn to someone and to say, the sacred in me recognizes and honors the sacred in you. The sacred in me recognizes and honors the sacred in you. So, does everybody feel sacred? Feel recognized as the sacred beings that we are? Well, now we're going to be blessed with another song from Grace in Nuremberg, and then I will be back to do the talk.
So I often have this notion whenever I like bird watching, and when I watch the birds, I just think of how lovely it would be to just be a bird flying around and how free that would feel. So I wrote this song kind of about that. It's called Soarin'. Oh, to be a pretty little bird up in the trees, maybe a nice chickadee. I just wanna feel free, flying around through the pink cotton candy clouds, watching the leaves hit the ground. Finally I am found. Is anything ever really free unless it learns the ways to be safe and sound within a crowd, or feeling peace solemnly? Give me a pair of wings and I will do all the things I always said that I would do, making everything feel new. When I close my eyes I dream the same old dream every time. I'm flying away from this crazy place. The winds hit my face and I say, what a beautiful life, just soaring through the skies. Don't need to know why, I'm just following my guides, taking it day by day, and I will find all the ways to feel free again, to feel like me again. But I've been trying to become the things I always run from. The thoughts deep inside, those thoughts don't mind. Remembering all the things I once forgot, how to flap my wings and soar through the wind. Feel it on my face again. Took me so long to find my way, and here is where I will stay. What a beautiful life, just soaring through the skies. Don't need to know why, I'm just following my guides, taking it day by day, and I will find all the ways to feel free again, to feel like me again.
How beautiful was that? there's a little birding in my talk today. Thank you, Grayson. That was magnificent, as always. So, welcome, and talking about seeing the sacred in all, right? So, tomorrow is Indigenous Peoples Day. I'm still calling it that. I don't care if you don't like it. And so, in honor of that fact, the topic is about seeing all of Earth as the Holy Land, right? Everywhere we walk, and bringing reverence and honor to that, and how we can show up and see the sacred, follow the example that the Indigenous peoples laid out for us about seeing the sacred in everything. But it doesn't just mean seeing the sacred in nature, where I'm going to be talking a little bit about nature, but it also means being able to see the sacred in each other, like we did in the Namaste practice, and in all of life. Because we know in this teaching that everything is spirit. Right? Everything is an expression of spirit, not just the beautiful nature, but also this building, also the concrete that, I wish there was a little bit less of in the world, but it too has its place, and it too is spirit, because there is only one. And we as people in this teaching and on a spiritual journey, we get to remember that. That is our job, to remember that everything is spirit, that everything is sacred, and then to find a way to honor that. There's this great, I'm sure you've heard it before, there's no spot where God is not. It's attributed to Charles Hayden Spurgeon, but it's all over the place. But when you really think of that, if you really embrace that and really live from that place where there's no spot where God is not, it makes a different experience, right? It makes everything a different experience, because it draws you to see the sacred in even the things that you don't like, in even the things that are difficult. And I know right now in the world that there's a lot going on in this country and in the world in general that makes it difficult to see the sacred. It makes it difficult to see progress or evolution in an uplifting and positive way. But that is our job. It is our job to look for the good. It is our job to pay attention to what is happening, but to draw forth the energy from the positive things as well. Because there are examples, I talked about this before, there are examples everywhere when you look for them. Right? So this reverence of the earth, it did not start and end. Even though there's things going backwards in this country, there are amazing innovations happening all over the world that are moving us forward, that are recycling and reusing. There are so many examples of this. Like, did you know that in Indonesia, they recycled flip-flops and made a floating road that rises with the floodwaters to connect the people during floods so that the roads don't flood out? Now, how cool is that? Right? So these things are happening. There's a company called Respire that has moss growing concrete. It's a kind of concrete that moss grows on that absorbs heat and water and cleans the air. Like, how cool is that? Like, there is possibility. There are things happening. There is innovation, there is forward movement, but we don't hear about it, right? Because a lot of the news is all about the negative, is all about the bad. And we, as people on a spiritual journey, and especially as people in this teaching that teaches us that all is sacred, need to look for those examples and share them and broadcast them and expand. We know that where you place your attention, energy flows. So it is our job to place our attention on those things that are just sort of sliding through the cracks of other people's consciousness, because we can bring them forth. So when you're sitting at social hour, instead of bitching about what you saw on the news, excuse my language, you can share something inspirational that you read. Or you can share something you saw that was a beautiful thing. So there are lots of ways that we can put our attention on the reverence and that we can draw forth the sacred. Gail Belluardo always posts on Facebook all these stories. This is where I got a lot of this stuff. So, you know, it's like you can look for it, you can share it, you can magnify it by paying attention to it. I, you know, am very blessed because I get to spend a lot of time in nature. I walk in nature, I bike in nature, I spend a lot of time, and I do that with an awareness of the sacredness and the beauty, right? But I also, when I see a leaf on the, you know, on the asphalt, it also reminds me that beauty does not just exist in the pristine circumstances of nature. It reminds me that there's also a certain beauty in this pattern of concrete. Like if you really look at it, you know, there's all kinds of different things to look at when you become aware. And when you bring an attitude of sacredness, you can see perhaps a purpose or perhaps something that brings it into a greater awareness. So Emerson says, the invariable mark of wisdom is to see the miraculous in the common. Right? And that's what is so easy to lose sight of. But when you do that, that's the kind of wisdom I want. I mean, I try, but you know, it's like, it's a constant practice. What is Lori's mantra? Daily practices, right? It's a constant practice to remember to look for the miraculous, to remember to appreciate what seems common or what seems like just asphalt beneath your feet or concrete or, you know, what just, you lose track of just how sacred and miraculous all of life is. And guess what? It's all life, right? Everything. This, me, it's all life. And it's all got its own unique sacredness. So just last week, before Chris Ferraro's amazing talk, I was birding. So interesting that well, of course we talked, but the Grayson song. So I went birding, and you know, one of the things I learned was about these things called LBJs, little brown jobs. And that's what birders call the common little brown birds that before I started birding, before I started paying attention and getting curious, I thought were like, you know, boring, common, like people would say, did you see anything? And I'd say no, because all I saw were these little, you know, like nothing brown birds. But guess what? When you pay attention, or I should say when I zoom in and look at with binoculars, when I get curious and I was with a birder guide that knew everything, when you learn about them, there's nothing common about them. When you see them in close up, when you really look, every little nuance of brown, every little time they move their feathers, there's like something else to see. And did you know that they're not just little brown birds, there's like a lot of different birds. There's, you know, wrens and sparrows and different kinds of sparrows and different kinds of wrens. And one, the Carolina wren, has 57 different songs. Like, you know, I mean, so that's common. That's what I used to think was just like this little common bird. So it shows you that if you look, if you pay attention, if you get curious, if you open your mind, you can find the miraculous in anything. You can find the sacred beauty in anything. And that is what is our job to do. So Walt Whitman, you know, I'm sure most of you are familiar with Walt Whitman, but you know the beautiful line, I believe a leaf of grass is no less than the journey work of the stars. That's from that amazing poem, Song of Myself. But how many of you will like look out into the night sky and be like awed by, you know, the universe and the stars and feel some kind of sacred connection with the divine? But how many of you look at a blade of grass and feel the same? Because it's all spirit. There's nothing more miraculous about the universe than there is about that one blade of grass that's pushing its way up through the earth. When you see the sacred in everything, when you see everything as an expression of spirit, that's what you see. And, you know, sometimes it takes a poet to point it out. But so in this expression of reverence for the earth, for nature, for the sacred. One of my favorite things is when I go to a park and it says, take nothing but photos, leave nothing but footprints, right? It's about the idea that you're walking gently through the landscape, through the earth, through nature, and you're not disturbing it in any way, or taking anything, or leaving anything. Well, guess what? I don't always do that. I sometimes pick up driftwood for Fred for his workshops, and I pick up shells. I just picked up shells from the beach last week because Valerie is going to be doing a workshop here in the future. And so, but here's the thing. When I do that, I do it with conscious awareness, okay? I'm not just like, you know, picking up whatever I want. I pick it up with reverence. I pick it up with conscious awareness that I'm making a sacred, conscious choice to pick up this thing and then bring it into a different expression of sacredness. Fred makes them into beautiful art, which is an expression of the divine all on its own. Valerie is also doing this art project with the shells. So it is an expression of sacredness in a different form. But there's a difference between just randomly picking up shells and picking them up for a purpose. And you know, there's someone in our center here who shared with me that she declutters people's homes, she helps people get rid of stuff, and that when she finds a shelf full of shells, which how many people have shells on their shelves at home, that she returns them to the ocean. Rather than allowing them to become one more thing in the landfill, right, which is what happens when people clean out their house and just throw everything away, she actually brings them back to the beach and returns them. And I think that's a beautiful expression of how we can see the sacred and the reverence. It means someone enjoyed that shell, but now they're returning it, right? I mean, it's a beautiful thing. There's a story about a company in Long Island called Collective Oyster Recycling and Restoration that returns the oyster shells back to the oyster beds because that they help clean the water, and they also are places for the baby oysters to attach to. And so these guys are people who fish, who have removed a lot of oysters from the bay, and now they are returning the shells for the continuation. So the point is, there's a lot of ways that we can be in reverence, that we can recognize the sacredness of all life and participate in it in whatever way you do, you know, whether it's recognizing and not picking up something, just being in appreciation for it and not needing to possess it or move it or own it. Just take a picture of it. That's what I always take pictures. Or, you know, my boyfriend used to tease me and say, just be with it. You don't need to take a photo. Well, with my memory, I like to have a photo. But anyway, but yeah, so there's that way of reverence. Or like I said, there's the conscious choice of choosing it to make something sacred. But then perhaps at the end of that, somebody's going to return it. Who knows? But we have to remember that we get to participate. Right? When I ride my bike, let me tell you, the most frustrating thing for me, I just want to scream thinking about it, is when people bag up their dog poop and leave it by the side of the trail. I'm just like want to lose my mind. But here's the thing, what do I do about it? Am I picking it up? Am I picking it up and throwing it away? Well, let me tell you, I used to, before COVID, whenever I saw garbage, you know, if I'm hiking and there's a can or there's something, I would pick it up and put it in my backpack so that I could throw it out when I left, because most of these places are, you know, take your own garbage with you. I don't do it anymore. But you know what? Since COVID has kind of dissipated, I'm going to choose, and I'm making this commitment right here, right now, that I'm going to do it again, right? I'm going to start picking up the garbage again. And those little bags by the side of the trail, if I have to stop my bike and get off and pick it up, I'm doing it. Because I will stop my bike and listen to the birds. I will stop my bike to see a beautiful pattern of leaves on the path, right? I will stop my bike to appreciate beauty. So now I need to also stop my bike to participate in keeping that beauty. So I plan to do that from now on because we are all practitioners in this consciousness that says that what we think and what we do matter. And in this time when it seems so overwhelming, it is even more important. Every little choice you make, every little decision, every little act is a way of saying, I honor the sacred in the earth. You know, I'm sure we've all heard reduce, reuse, recycle, right? Ta-da! My entire outfit today was bought at a thrift store, from the boots to the pants to the shirts to the scarf to the everything. Okay? So I don't like to shop, so it's easy for me. But the idea is, rather than buying new, buy what is already available and reuse, right? There's a beautiful thing called Stitch It, Don't Ditch It. In Edinburgh, they have street stitchers that sit out in the court, you know, like in the center of town, and will stitch people's ripped things to make them unique and to make them usable again and to make them, instead of throwing it away, we fix it, right? Yesterday in Madison, where I live, was Fix It Day. They had a free Fix It Day. If you had something that was broken, you could bring it there and they would fix it. This is part of the solution. Getting rid of that consciousness of just throw it out and buy a new one, right? That's adding to all of our world's problems. So every way that you can participate in changing that, by fixing something, by wearing clothes that you get that somebody else has worn, by choosing not to, I'm sorry guys, but by choosing not to order from Amazon because of all the packaging, because of all the, right? It's so easy. I know, I'm guilty of it too. Just yesterday, I almost hit the button and then I was like, don't do it, Lori. Go to the store. Go to the store. And I did. And you know what? It cost me $2 more at the store, at my local store. And I had to carry it home. But I didn't push the button for Amazon. So with that, you can say, all right, what difference does that make with all of the, with everything that's going on? But every choice in consciousness matters. So I made a conscious choice not to participate in that. So, I go to Walmart and I see the, what are they called? Pallets of plastic water bottles. And, it's hard to think, not using plastic, me not using plastic, when there's all this plastic. But guess what? It has to start somewhere. Mm-hmm. It starts small. I do not use plastic water bottles. I have 2 in my house that have been there for, I'm sorry to say, it's kind of embarrassing, but I've been there a long time and I use them to freeze water in the freezer. But I do not use plastic water bottles. And I make a conscious choice of that. Reverend Frankie used to bring her own container to restaurants to take home the leftovers rather than have them give her a plastic thing, right? So as small as that seems in the grand scheme of things, it all starts there. And guess what? In this teaching, we know it all starts in consciousness. So when you make that choice not to use plastic, not to order Amazon, when you make that choice to pick up the litter, to buy from a reasonable store, to stitch something rather than throw it away, you are saying into the universe, into the one mind, you are saying, I choose to be part of the solution rather than part of the problem. And every person that does that expands that consciousness of possibility and of hope, right? So and you get to live in that understanding that you are part of the solution. When there is, like there is right now, so much that could be despairing, when there seems so many things that are dark and problematic, that's when it's even more important. It's even more important to do those daily practices, to make those little choices, to embrace those little ways, to, go to the small stores that are sustainably, looking at a small store owner who isn't a small store anymore. But yeah, so but making that choice, right? Making that choice to be part of the solution. And then recognizing and honoring the sacredness of all that's around us. So it's a gray day today. Does that make it any less beautiful? We need the rain, we need the cycles, we need the seasons, we need all of this. And when we look with that consciousness that everything is sacred and everything is an expression of spirit, then we find the beauty in whatever there is. Eileen just recently shared a beautiful photo with me of a beautiful sunset, right? So that beautiful sunset is this glorious expression of spirit and of the Creator, but so is this gray day. It is all spirit, all expressing, and it is all sacred when you choose to see it. I had so many more quotes here, but all right, so I'm going to just share one more with you. Charles Fillmore said, the outer world is the shadow of the inner light. To see rightly is to see divine shining through every form. To see rightly is to see divine shining through every form. That's how I want to see. I try. Can't say I'm always successful, but it's a choice, right? It's a choice and a practice. And that's why our daily practices are so important. Whether it's prayer, meditation, walking in nature, doing affirmations, doing qigong, breathing, whatever it is, doing it daily to pause and recognize in that practice. Take one breath, 1 minute, and just recognize and honor the sacredness of life, the sacredness of the people around you, the sacredness of the building you're in, the sacredness of the road you're walking on, whether it's a beautiful path in nature or whether it's the highway. It's all sacred. It's up to us to see it. It's up to us to find it, to recognize it, to honor it, to give it reverence, and to expand it by sharing it with people. To expand it by rejoicing in it and celebrating it, right? I mean, we can always, I find it so easy to bitch about the bad things, but let's choose in consciousness to celebrate the sacred beauty of everything and everyone. Even what is difficult. You with me? Mm-hmm. Let's all affirm together. I embrace the holy nature of the earth.
I embrace the holy nature of the earth.
I honor the sacred in all things.
I honor the sacred in all things.
The Holy Land is everywhere.
The Holy Land is everywhere.
Today, I do my part.
Today, I do my part.
I choose to do one small thing.
I choose to do one small thing.
To honor the sacredness of the earth and of all of life.
To honor the sacredness of the earth and of all life.
And so it is. All right, so now we're going to have another song with Grayson, and then I will be back to lead us in meditation, and of course I have a poem to share with you. But Grayson is going to lead us now in a chant that's a call and response. So everybody participate.
So I have left the papers out on your chair where it says Holy Land Chant. If you want to participate, feel free. So where you see call, that's going to be my part, response is going to be your part, and then kind of messed up the formatting on the end. So after the last couple lines at the top part, the Holy Land is everywhere, everywhere the Holy Land, then you can just look up and repeat after me for the last few. So let's practice. Let's do the first one, the first two. The Holy Land is everywhere.
Everywhere, the Holy Land.
In every heart, in every prayer.
In every heart, in every prayer.
All right. You did great. That was amazing. So now I'll add some guitar to it and we'll take it from the top. The Holy Land is everywhere.
Everywhere, the Holy Land.
In every heart, in every prayer.
In every heart, in every prayer.
In every tear, in every sound.
We're walking on
a little prayer.
Every breath, everywhere.
The Holy Land is everywhere.
Everywhere the whole.
Now repeat after me. Everywhere, everywhere.
Everywhere, everywhere.
The Holy Land is everywhere.
Holy Land is everywhere.
Can we do it again?
Yes, okay.
Now that we know?
Yeah, definitely. That was great. I've never done something like this before, so thank you guys for participating. We'll do it again from the top. The Holy Land is everywhere.
Everywhere the Holy Land.
In every heart, in every prayer.
In every heart, in every prayer.
In every tear, in every sound.
Walking on holy ground.
I feel the love, I feel the air.
Feel the love, it's everywhere.
Every breath's a little prayer.
Every breath, everywhere.
The Holy Land is everywhere.
Everywhere the Holy
Repeat
Land.
after me. Everywhere, everywhere.
Everywhere, everywhere.
The Holy Land is everywhere.
The Holy Land is everywhere.
Yay! Thank you, Grayson.
Thank you.
Wasn't that fun? I can't sing, but that was fun. Thank you.
Of course.
Yeah. So, from this place of recognizing that the Holy Land is everywhere and that we get to recognize the sacred in all of life, we are going to do, yes, thank you for staying up. I'm going to lead you in a guided meditation. So, if you are comfortable doing so, I invite you all to close your eyes. Let's begin by allowing the body to settle. Taking a deep breath in and let it go. Again, breathing in, drawing in sacred life itself. And exhaling, releasing anything that no longer serves. Let your shoulders soften. Let your jaw unclench. Just feel the gentle rhythm of your breath. Breathing in, you draw in sacred energy, the very breath of spirit. And breathing out, you release all sense of separation. Breathing in the sacredness of Spirit's breath. Breathing out all sense of separation. Now from this place, I invite you to take a walk with me, to imagine that we are walking along a path. Perhaps it's in a park, or a forest, or a simple tree-lined street. Just notice the ground beneath your feet. Notice the mosaic of leaves, the autumn leaves falling, maybe already under your feet. Notice what that leaf looks like against the ground or against the path. And just feel every step that you take to be a step of reverence. With each step, affirm silently to yourself, the Holy Land is everywhere. The Holy Land is everywhere. And as you look around, maybe you see a few of those LBJs, those little brown birds. Just notice the miraculousness of their sacred life, of the expression of spirit that they are. Remember, there is no spot where God is not. This too is sacred. Wherever you are is holy ground. And as you continue walking, feel your connection to all that is. To the earth you are walking on, to the trees you are walking through, or maybe the town you are walking through if you're on the street. Just recognize your connection with all that is. All that is sacred. And with every reverent step, you step forward honoring that sacredness. Thich Nhat Hanh has a beautiful walking meditation where with every step you see blossoms. As you pick up your foot, you are leaving footprints of blossoms. So take a few steps and imagine that. Imagine that you walk through the earth in such a way that what you leave behind you is blossoming, is sacred, is beautiful. Because you walk with conscious choice, with reverent awareness. So feeling your feet on the earth, maybe bending down and touching the ground with your hand, acknowledging the blessing and the sacredness of our earth. In nature and out of nature, it is all our sacred mother planet. Maybe whisper softly, I honor you. Thank you. And then, as we walk on, we remember the oneness. We walk in oneness with all that is sacred. And we celebrate that. We celebrate that consciousness. And so, as we return to our seats, to this room, and to this moment. Before you totally come back, look back at the path you have walked and see all the blossoms that you have left. Those are blossoms in consciousness of gratitude, of joy, of recognition of beauty, of oneness, of compassion, of wisdom, and seeing the miraculous in the common. And then with one final deep breath in, breathing in all that sacredness, and exhaling out anything that would separate you from the sacredness of life. One more time, breathing in deep, all that beautiful sacredness, the life of spirit itself, and then breathing out anything that would make you feel separate. And then returning when you are ready and opening your eyes, knowing that we are all sacred. See the sacred in one another as well as in the world around us. Okay, welcome back. And so, as often happens to me when I'm working on a talk, it sort of also comes to me as a poem. And so I've decided to go with that. I've decided to just embrace the opportunity to write more poetry, to share more poetry, and to put the message into a different form. So this came from this talk, from my walk in nature, and from my consciousness, right? So it's temporarily called Seeing the Sacred in All. I was changing it just as I was here earlier, so it's probably, I'm like cross out this, but so anyway, but this is the poem. I hope you enjoy it. This morning, I step outside and breathe the hush within the season. That tender pause when summer sighs goodbye and autumn answers. The air carries the scent of churning, apple skin, damp soil, the faint sweetness of pine, a whisper of smoke from somewhere unseen. Each falling leaf is a sermon today, gold, crimson or brown, all teaching the same truth. To release is holy. To let go is not loss, but the way we make room for more light. A breeze stirs and the trees respond with a language of rustle and shimmer. Sunlight spills through their thinning crowns, like grace through stained glass, forgiveness through time. In the distance, geese trace a letter only heaven can read. I walk slowly, listening. The earth hums beneath my feet, a vibration older than words, both ancient and alive. Moss softens the path. Stones remember rain. Somewhere, a crow calls out, a single note that reminds me sound itself is sacred when I listen with an open heart. In Science of Mind, we say God is all there is. No separation between spirit and soil, between the one and the ordinary. So I bend to touch a fallen leaf and know I am touching the infinite. Every acorn is an idea taking shape in time. Every breeze that brushes my face is the breath of life, reminding me that the same power that paints the sky in October hues moves through me, as me. To honor Earth is to honor this self, not the small self of striving, but the spacious self that belongs to everything, the one who kneels before the sunset, who sees divinity in dew. I hear the creek beneath the bridge singing its endless hymn, each ripple catching light, each drop returning home. A hawk wheels above me, wings outstretched, effortless, an image of what freedom looks like when trust and air are one, when we let the currents carry us home. Each step becomes a quiet amen. Each heartbeat, a note in the great song. Within the falling leaves, I am both giver and receiver of this sacred exchange. So I walk with reverence. Every bird that crosses my path is a blessing. Every rustle in the trees, a reminder, creation is ongoing. This beauty, this breath, this sacred circling of seasons is spirit, revealing itself again. Thank you. Okay, let's see, I gotta do the announcements first. Okay, so we have a lot of announcements, so let me do that. And then we're gonna have Grayson back. Okay, so today, after our social hour, which is a potluck, which I hope all of you contributed to, we're having kirtan by Matt and Angela at 1 o'clock. So please come, stay, join us. It's going to be a beautiful experience. We have Reverend Janice is starting a Science of Mind accredited class on October 14th. It's 7 weeks on Tuesday night on Zoom. It's called Revealing Wholeness, a radical journey into the body, spirit, and mind. I have taken this class. It's an amazing class. I totally suggest that if you haven't taken it, you take it. She's a wonderful teacher, and this is really a great way to go deeper into the Science of Mind teaching. Next week, Reverend Jennifer Berkeley will be doing the service here with music by Rich Volke, and she is going to be doing a book signing afterwards. I have her book. I have read her book. It's amazing. It's a beautiful book of memoirs and stories and poems, and she will be doing a book signing after the service. So make sure. Unfortunately, I'm going to be speaking in Princeton next week, so I won't be here, and I hate that I'm missing it because I love her and I love this book. All right, so then on Thursday, October 23rd, we're having a woman-to-woman luncheon at noon here. Bring your favorite dish to share. RSVP with Kathy or sign up in the social hour room, it says here. But that's going to be just a way to be in community and get to know each other and spend time together and eat together. So come for that. Then, okay, so last week, I don't know how many of you were here for Chris Ferraro's talk last week. Okay, almost everybody. Okay, so Chris Ferraro talked about letting go of what no longer serves, and she talked about all of her decks, right, all her oracle decks, and how she needed to get rid of some. And so, as I was sitting here listening to her, I had this inspiration that we should do a swap here. So, the month of November, we are having a gratitude and blessing swap. Whatever you want that you have too much of in your life, but that someone else might benefit by, you're invited to bring in. Small things. We're going to cover the back counters with them. They're going to be here for several weeks, and then at the end, we will either donate it to one of the many thrift stores, one of the many places that accept donations, or you can take it back. But it's all just to get rid of what you need to let go of and to bless someone else with it. So it's going to be a beautiful thing. I'm really excited about that. Then on Sunday, November 9th is our amazing Helier. Where's Christy? She's out taking care of social hour, but Christy has organized our healing day from 1 to 5 p.m. on Sunday, November 9th. We're going to have 5 rhythms: Qigong, yoga, sound journey, Reiki, integrative healing, and you can sign up on Breeze. It is a fundraiser for the center, so yes, there is a cost, but it is all going to our center. So it is a beautiful thing, and it's a great experience. I loved it last year. I hope you'll all be there. A very important announcement: we need a new leader for our welcome and greeters team. So we are asking you to please think about stepping up and becoming a part of this service, right? Circulation, the law of circulation. Oh, that's what I didn't do. That reminds me. Okay, so I'm going to pass the basket. So this is one way you can give. All right, so okay, Lori, I knew I was forgetting something. So this is one way you can give, is by volunteering and being a part of. And Eileen Gantz, thank you so much. She has led this for as long as anyone can remember, and she would like someone else to step up and take it off her plate. So please consider volunteering. And we did pass out a survey. We hope that you filled it out. Please return it. So we're asking that you return it by next week, so that we can compile the information stuff. We had a community meeting, we handed out surveys. Please don't just take them home and forget about them. Please fill them out and bring them back. You can leave them in the back of the room. We also have Science of Mind magazines. They're $11.95. They're back there. It says September, October issues are now $5. So you get a bargain. So I read mine every day, so it's really good. And then we have, it's not till next month, we have the First Friday Healing Circle is back happening. So since I skipped the part about the divine law of circulation, I'm passing the basket, but I just want to say that from this place of recognizing the sacredness of everything, there is a sacred law of circulation that says, as you give, so you receive, right? And so we, in this teaching and in this center, really believe that. So if you really want to participate in the sacredness of our community, in the sacredness that we are recognizing and honoring here today, this is one of the ways that we do it. You can give text to give, there's Venmo, PayPal, there's a basket going around, but give from that place of sacredness. Give from that place that is filled up by spirit. Give from that overflow of joy and bounty, right? So I'm going to invite you all now to just join me in this affirmation. I give my gift from the sacred place within me to sustain this sacred community and to magnify our blessings. And so it is. Okay, so I'm going to do the closing treatment now, and then Grayson is going to come up and bless us with another song. So, I invite you to close your eyes for a minute and to just come into that place of oneness with the sacred, that place of oneness with the divine, that recognizes that we are all one. We are all unique expressions of the one. And in that place, we get to see the sacred in everyone and everything. We get to experience the joy and blessing of showing reverence, of honoring the earth, of doing our part. And we joyfully and expectantly do something to show that we are part of the solution. Today we go forth and we do some small thing, knowing that every act matters, that every choice in consciousness matters. I affirm this for each one right here, right now, that this is our truth. This is how we choose to live. And this is how we go forth into the world, honoring the sacred in all of life, everyone and everything, knowing that each step we take is taken on holy ground. And so it is. Thank you, Grayson.
Thank you, Lori. That was great. This song I wrote actually years ago, and I think I played it here once before. Just a fun closing song. Everything I need to know is coming down from above. Woke up this morning to a sunny day. Look up at the skies and they're no longer gray. When I went to school, I didn't learn too much, but everything I need to know is coming down from the sun. Everything I need to know is coming down from above. Everything I need to know is coming down from the sun. Yesterday is history, tomorrow is a mystery. All we've got is today, so why not celebrate it? Laughing with some friends and maybe writing a song with your new pen. Whatever it is that brings you joy, just know it's all given to you for you. Is what I need. Make Coronas with a little lime, but we'll save that for the night. All I wanted was to be free, and now that's all that I can be. Every day is a good day, 'cause life's a beautiful bouquet of your favorite flowers. Just gotta take back what's ours.
So I am available for Treatment Express if anybody wants treatment.